Whether it's misplacing keys or repeating the same story over and over, today we're revealing how you can spot the early warning signs of dementia in your parents.
There are more than 400,000 Australians living with dementia, which is the single greatest cause of disability in older people. Although there is no cure, a prompt diagnosis is critical. So, what are the signs you need to be on the lookout for?
It's always a pleasure to talk to author and speaker Dr. Helena Popovic. Good afternoon,
Good
Dr.
afternoon.
Helena. Nice to see you. Shopping habits can reveal dementia symptoms. Give us a few examples of that.
Well, if you happen to walk into your parents' bathroom and find 8 bottles of the same shampoo, it might mean they're forgetting what they've bought, so they keep going out and getting the same thing. Now, if they've always bought 8 of something when it's on special, then don't worry. It's the change in behaviour that's something you have to look out for. Or if you're shopping with them and they struggle to work out what notes to give, they might be getting confused or losing their powers of calculation. Can be a sign.
Some good early signs. Yeah.
And what about behaviour behind the wheel?
We lose our capacity to judge distances. So if you think you're going to be swiping off all the mirrors from the parked cars when your parent is driving, or they brake very late, or they ignore signs, make inappropriate turns, or even just can't find their way around something that used to be familiar, more warning signs.
This is an interesting one, being more readily talked into something by a salesperson or demanding grandchild. What does this highlight?
Dementia often affects the frontal lobes. So that's our seat of rational thinking and judgment. So people become more gullible. And yeah, they might agree to something that they would never previously agree to. Or the grandchild says, can I jump off this 3-metre fence because I'm Superman? Yes, darling. Oops.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes they get even more paranoid of the people around them that care for them. So there's this duality. They trust other people because they don't trust their own judgment, but when it comes to you, they're a bit more suspicious and paranoid, and that's really difficult.
Yeah, it makes them quite vulnerable, I'd imagine. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, tell us about this test involving asking them to draw something, and there's some signs there.
Yes, a really telltale test is ask them to draw a clock face showing 10 past 11. Now, if they struggle, if they put the numbers in the wrong place, or it's the wrong time, or they leave off a hand, this is a real red flag, even if they refuse to do the test. Because telling time is very complex. And my father frequently, and this is common, at 7 p.m, he'll go, is it 7 p.m. or 7 a.m?
Your father is
Yes.
suffering from dementia right now.
Yes, that's right.
And are you his full-time carer,
I am,
Helena?
yes.
Yeah, OK. Well, the research and development when it comes to these kind of conditions is really underway. There's been a great breakthrough using young people's blood to help with
Yes.
Alzheimer's. Tell us about this.
It was researchers from the University of Stanford. They found that transfusing plasma, which is the protein-rich component of blood, when you remove the red and white cells, you're left with this clear fluid. Transfusing that into somebody with Alzheimer's disease has been shown to increase their skills of daily living. They become better at conversation, more engaged, better able to follow the flow of conversation. And they've only tested it so far in 18 people, and that was preliminary to see if it was safe. So I actually, as soon as I read this, I contacted the blood bank and said, I'll donate Dad's blood, my blood to Dad. And I was very unimpressed when they said, but it has to be the blood of a young person, i.e. under 30.
Oh, OK.
So that's what we found so far. But don't go trying this, because it's next year they're going to start the first serious trials of this.
Okay.
But I think it's really promising.
Yeah, that's encouraging, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here in Australia, that will be a trial?
United States.
OK, all
yes, so far. But we'll follow soon.
Yeah.
When it comes to prevention, some of the studies have now said that lots of sleep can be a help.
Yes, how good is that? They found that the best form of detoxification for the brain is your deep sleep. And they've done studies where they let people fall asleep, go through their light sleep. Once they get into deep sleep, they wake them up. They let them fall asleep again, but every time they go into deep sleep, they wake them. And when in the mornings they scan their brains, they see a higher accumulation of amyloid, which is the protein that builds up, forms plaques and chokes your brain cells. And when you don't get deep sleep, you have more amyloid in your brain, and when they're tested, their cognition is much poorer.
Wow.
So get your sleep throughout life. And it's not just, later in life to get good sleep.
Yep.
Throughout your life, every little bit adds up.
So I wonder if that means that it's more prevalent in people who have had children then, because surely they've had less sleep than those who haven't had children.
But if it's just a short bit of time, then it's okay. One more really quick sign to pick up in your... If they suddenly become disinhibited, say really inappropriate things, like a carer came to my house recently and Dad said, that's a terrible haircut. I'll give you my daughter's hairdresser. She'll do a better job. And it's like, no, you can't say that. But they don't realise they're saying something inappropriate or they're very flirtatious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Helena, I tell you what, the blood tests, the blood trials, that sounds very, very exciting.
Yes, I think it is really promising.
Okay, great. Nice breakthrough. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
You
Thank
too.
you so much.